Yeah, Brian, Dave Robin with NASCAR.com. Is NASCAR, in terms of the affordability to the teams, is NASCAR looking at any ways to boost the purses in the Camping World Truck Series, including the step of putting the money in yourself?
You mean me personally, Dave? Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I kind of followed you. Although I've thought about that. The purses are part of the equation. The sponsorship is a bigger part, frankly, of how you sort of keep teams well-funded and whatever else. It all obviously goes together. We've been pretty pleased, though, with the nationwide support. And frankly, they may be a benefactor as sponsorship values get pushed down or pushed around. That they're going to be a place that you can. It's easier, more affordable for some companies, and that's always been the case. Probably is highlighted now with a tough economy, but we're looking at trying to get their costs down as best we can. That's our job. Is we certainly help on the revenue side for them whenever we can. And with television revenue or other ancillary revenue, sponsorship revenues, but where we can be the most impactful is helping them control costs with policies we write that affect their teams, and that's what we're going to continue to work on in the offseason.
Bruce Martin with SI.com. Brian, the very first year of the chase, you probably couldn't have planned it any better. You had 5 guys eligible, going into the last race of the season here with a shot at the title. Since then, we've seen Jimmy's dominance. Do you think the true value of this format won't really be known until you can really look at it over a 10-year period?
Probably. I think that's a fair, look, any models we ever did on anything of how things would likely play out never included somebody who would be so dominating at the right time. It's pretty incredible what they have done. And, like I said, you can look at that a lot of different ways, and the only way I think that is fair is to recognize it for what it is, not to pick apart the format. This isn't a formula exercise in a computer all the time to get you some result that you want. This is about sports and live things that happen by the best drivers and the best teams in the world, and who performs at a high level and when. And you have to say that is what we look at ultimately in deciding what is a good outcome or not a good outcome.
Okay, we've got Mike Hembry, Claire B., and Pakras.
Mike Hembry, NASCAR scene. Brian, what are your hopes for gains you can make from the banquet being in Vegas in a couple of weeks versus New York? And do you anticipate somewhere down the road there the banquet itself being open to fans?
Well, there is a fan component now because we have the room to do that in Las Vegas. So there will be some number of fans, and we're obviously happy about that, and we were going to be looking to expand that over time. We want to walk before we run here, but look, Las Vegas will be a nice, refreshing thing, a shot in the arm a little bit this time of the year for us and for the industry. It's going to save them a lot of money, starting with that, which is important in this economy. But also the fact that the city of Las Vegas is so welcoming. The Wynn Hotel has been incredible. So my anticipation is it's going to be a fun week, and the attendance is going to be at an all-time high, in part because we have the capacity to expand because the venues lets us do that. And then in part because I think people just want to come to Las Vegas in December, and so we're looking forward to getting there in a couple of weeks.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius NASCAR Radio. NASCAR's always been described in the past as a benevolent dictatorship, and in these tough times, though, it seems like NASCAR is listening to the fans more than ever before with the fan council and the double file restarts. Is that true? And how do you balance listening to public opinion now that there's so much of it out there and not tipping your hand or altering how you would have run the sport in the past?
Well, I can comment to what to my time at running NASCAR since 2004, and I said when I started that we were going to be the most inclusive that we have ever been in our history. We did that with a new car. We did that with a lot of things. We continue to do that. We started the fan council where we speak directly to 12,000 fans every week on a variety of issues, and obviously with our teams, and which we've done town hall meetings. We'll do more, and the idea is to get as much input as we can. In the end, you want it to be where we can be decisive and make decisions, and we are. And that's the way you get progress and you get to move forward. You want to take all the information in. But look, we're a sport where it has a lot of opinions of how to do this, that, or the other thing. And 43 teams in each national division all have different agendas. They have different goals of how things affect them and who likes this rules package better than the other person or this tire or whatever it is. And so our job, and the good news is we have a lot of people that have been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years who understand how to filter the opinions, the reactions, and the advice that we get into a way that gets the best outcome for the sport. We're not perfect. We'll make mistakes. But by and large, year after year, we will make far more good decisions than we will poor ones. And the poor ones that we make, we'll try to fix them as fast as we can.
Bob Pockris, NASCAR scene. I wanted to ask you about the car. Do you feel like you need to make any tweaks to the car, or do you believe it's good enough as it is? And there's also been talk about allowing the manufacturers a little more freedom with the body. Is that a priority, and how close are you on that?
You know, we did have, as I said earlier, some very fluid, good exchanges in our town hall meeting that Mike Helton and I chaired in May. And we had most of the team owners, a lot of the crew chiefs, some of the drivers that were, and it wasn't just on the new car or the car, but obviously there was a lot of focus on that. And what we came away from was there probably were some things that we could consider, but there was no unanimous, yeah, boy, if you just did this, it would improve that and whatever. And what we netted out is that we will take a look at some things in the off season as we would expect us to do. And there are a couple things that we'll be looking at. But one of the things that we felt strongly about is if we change something in May or June, it would counter what we had said in the beginning, which is the car was going to take a little while to figure out. But when you did, we were going to have better racing by far, and we were going to have safer racing. And if we change things too much, too fast along the way, we'll never get everybody comfortable with what they had. And so that was the decision that we ultimately, after listening to everything, because there's not anything that most of the drivers are getting comfortable with it and feel like that they don't need a lot of help in one way or another. But we will look at some things in the off season going into Daytona to see if we can make a car and the racing better than it is now. And that is absolutely our goal. And it's always our goal. You can't, absent having passes every 3 seconds and photo finishes every race, which we would prefer, love to see that. If we don't achieve that, then we're going to keep pushing it forward and looking at ways to achieve somewhere between great racing that we have now and utopia, which is up here.
Dustin.